Easy. Well, to show you again how important these are, I'm going to just use this number as an example and say almost all the rest of the questions fall into that category. Is what I just described going to happen with all of these? No, but it'll happen with a lot of them. And so I want to see if you can figure out why that is. So that's your test for the day, okay, since we're talking about tests. Why would a question seem easier 10 or 15 minutes after you gave it a try the first time? What's going on in your brain that makes that true?
You're somewhat familiar with the question already because you've looked over it once.
That's part of it. And what else? You know, when you look at 50 questions, right? That's what you did the first time. You see them all, right? Sometimes you see something in one question, starts, right, connecting in the other. That's part of it. But here's my favorite example. I'm going to give you two illustrations of this. I'm sure that all of you have had this happen to you, some more than others. Some people, when I describe this, they say that happens every day. Other times it's occasionally. Okay? You're trying to remember someone's name, and you know their name, and you're talking to somebody and you say, yeah, his name is, give me a minute. His name is, it's right on the tip of my tongue. His name, and you can't think of it. And you're thinking, what is wrong with me? I know that name. What usually happens at that point if you keep pushing yourself to try to remember it? What usually happens? Yeah, it usually gets further and further away, and you get more and more frustrated thinking, why can't I think of it? So what do you finally do? You give up, right? And then the weirdness happens. 10 minutes later, 3 hours later, the next day you're walking down the street and you're saying, I got to go to the store, and then the name just comes out of your mouth. And you're like, where did that come from? Oh, yeah. Yesterday I was trying to remember the name of that teacher I had a few years ago, and then it just comes out when you didn't even ask it to. That's pretty weird, right? That happens to everybody. Why is that? It's because our brains are a lot more like computers than we give them credit for. And if you cover up the choices on a question on a test and you read it and you think, you go searching for about 10 seconds, you can't find it, and you just let it go, and you go on to other things, what is your brain doing while you're doing the other things? Still searching. It's like looking for a file, and when you come back around to it the second time, you end up sometimes reading the question and your brain is like this. I found it. It's right there. I couldn't find it before, but I found it. And so things just start clicking better than they did at the beginning. So that means one of the worst things you could do actually as a test taker is to sit there and read a question and then think, oh, that was right there in chapter 2. I can even picture the page that was on. What is that? I know that. And keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Because usually the longer you do that, the more frustrated you get, the further it gets away, like those names, and wasting time. So you just let it go and trust that it's in there. It'll come out in a little while. Okay, that's kind of the process. The other reason why this order seems to help people a lot is because of this. Before a person goes out and exercises in a really strenuous way by running or playing a sport or whatever, what are they supposed to do first? Warm up, right? Stretch. Why do they do that? Yeah, one's not to get hurt. And I always tell people this. In my many years of teaching, I won't tell you how long, I have never had a student in the middle of a test do this. Oh, pulled muscle, got to go to the nurse or whatever and kind of limp out of the room. So that has nothing to do with testing. But the other one, what did you say again?